Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8 and Third Reich Events 4. Just want to say a quick word. Generally speaking, I want to try to keep most episodes somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes. There's several reasons for this, including some YouTube reasons. I hope the episodes, are reasonably watchable. Obviously, if you're commute to work or school on the train or bus or underground, you can watch then if you save them on your tablets. If you have that, I do notice some people watching it on their smartphones. I don't get to see who's watching it how, but just a rundown for the analytics, percentage of people watching on their computer or on their tablet or smartphone or TV or game console or wherever they may be watching, so that I sort of know what people are watching in the different mediums, because they resize the video to various sizes for these things. I wonder, people watching on a smartphone, if they're getting much out of this, but happy to have you watching whatever medium, and I hope if you're watching at work, you're only doing it during your breaks and at lunch hour. But there's many places you can watch this. Okay, so that's just about that. So what I have done is, in between the last things, I went into save game file and edited this to completion so that it should complete there. I didn't want to pay for it twice, because we're paying for it with the ICs here, but we're also paying with the effect. That was just a bit much for me to want to do. And we have another decision, yes. Bank for international settlements. Alright. This will give us 5% increased ICs, and it will give us 5% leadership modifier, so we want that. And we're going to go with the biggest one because we have the money, or we have the supplies. We want the money, so it's going to gain a lot of supplies. It'll help our relations, and then it will also, because if you notice which one here, it will also give us another 4% ICs, minus some on supplies. It means you've got to produce a little bit more, but it more than balances out. Increased money and even more increased leadership modifiers. So yes, we want this. You should always take this in the biggest batches you can. Just keep managing these down. And you see we're now down to 5.65 efficiency for industrial production because of things coming from the queue. We have some free supplies. Let's take a quick look here. Espionage leaders, we want to make sure we're having enough leaders going on, because we're way down now, but we're not fighting. That isn't a problem now, but we want that to continue to grow. We're getting too many diplomats, so what we will do, let's lock this in place. Like that. Unlock diplomacy and reduce diplomacy. More. This time, because if you notice my last playthrough, I stored up a bunch of these, which is a useful thing to do, but I'm adjusting my play style here. So, but we are going to still have a positive gain here for a while, so we're doing that. And on spies, where are we currently spying on? Well, we're not really doing anything, so we need to do something. Counter-espionage, raise national unity, because we're almost there, so we'll leave that. And UK probably has some nice naval techs that we can steal, so we will do some tech espionage there. And back to here, let's see, so we have just a few little bit that we can put somewhere, hopefully somewhere useful early on. It's always good to get these, whatever it is, earlier than later, especially things that will help other aspects out. Yep. In the U.S., we give them money for crude oil. A lot of our money. No. I wish the oil was handled better. I'm liking what I'm seeing in Hearts of Iron 4 with their resource management. Just if you're not following along all the message forms, you can no longer store up any of these things in Hearts of Iron 4. There's a minor thing, just if minor interruptions to cushion that. But what you can store up is supplies, fuel, and equipment. So instead of pre-building units, you pre-build equipment. Now, because my family background is in oil, I know a bit about the oil situation here leading up to this thing. Like when Germany captured France, they got about a year's supply of oil from that, kept German war usage rates. So they kept Germany going for a year, full tilt from there. And it's much easier to store oil. It's much more stable substance than it is to store fuel. So any national reserves, you really want to store it as oil, not as fuel. So that's one thing when I keep thinking, oh, no oil, no oil. You can't store it up, because that's just from my real world thinking, but I just got to remember, but you can stock up on stockpiles of fuel. So some of that, and some of the rare materials Germany was stockpiling. Things like steel and coal, which basically energy is no longer in the next game. As we see, it's almost useless in this game. You know, but there are other commodities there. So we're doing fairly well on this. I wanted to get a couple of these, because it'll reduce some of our practicals and we can burn through those quickly. It hurts us a little bit, I know. But hopefully once we get these adjusted. A bunch of events just happened after the first of the month. Okay, Hans von Ohen. He was the basic founding of the German jet development. That's a jet engine, very sort of shallow, based early on. Photo of him, very young man. We have three choices. We can do a big investment, modest investment, or we don't need to do jet engines. Now, sort of the one area of that I've been informed with Black Ice that they really haven't done it's not as big an impact as having the jets, but we're going to play a long game and I want to have jets, so it's maybe a bit more immersive than war winning. Since I designed this event, I can tell you my design philosophy behind it is you can throw resources at somebody, meaning him working, because that was his, the other guy involved in it, his engineer, Ernst Haeckel, oh no, that's Haeckel, the air producer. What was his engineer's name? I don't know if I do. That was his engineer, assistant, partner, whatever. in the development of this, he was basically sort of developing this in his garage, if you will, with very little resources. So you can keep it, you know, theoretically at that kind of level in here, and obviously we haven't even done rocket engines to start with theoretical jets and go through the playbook here. But it was already at this time they were starting on this stuff, and you can throw resources at a project, meaning instead of just building one engine and testing it and see if it works and then seeing what doesn't work and build another, you could build 4 engines all at once, all slightly different, and see which ones work better and keep improving it. So that's sort of what I looked at this, is throwing resources, not necessarily leadership, because if you notice there's no additional leadership gain here. It's supplies, money for, again, I do use money sometimes for imported rare materials or some elements with that. Yeah. But after a while you get diminishing returns. So if you notice, a lot more invested in it, 1,500 supplies, 4,500 for just modest little extra things. So the best probably is, unless you're really needing to save up on some of those, and if you're going to go down it, this is the best investment, to just invest in it. So you can overthrow if you want, but players' options. Berliner Illustrated Zeitung, basically magazine. Winter Olympics issue here, but it also covers the funeral, you can see there, of Wilhelm Gustloff, which we just had in the previous episode, his assassination, his funeral. So the Hindenburg actually should be probably launched maybe more. One of the I think the biggest thing ever to go into the sky, or nearly so, and one of the biggest man-made objects, definitely at the time. So that we can do that, or we can look inside. So we will look inside. You can see the luxurious accommodations. This is the dining rooms. Everything was built super light and super lightweight. They did have one room in the center that was rather small. It was for smoking, and it was the only place you could light anything, have a lighter or anything, and they actually used an electric lighter, and obviously it was flame. The people were so addicted to smoking there, and obviously still are, that they were willing to risk having open flames on a hydrogen bomb situation. So yeah, very sort of interesting thing. I would take a ride in good weather in a helium Zeppelin and find it really fun, but I wouldn't go up in a hydrogen Zeppelin. But okay. Auto show, the 1936 Berlin Auto Show. Get a little boost both for German companies making preparations for the auto show, as well as a little bit of, shall we say, industrial espionage. Taking a look, because they bring in a lot of foreign makes of cars and trucks as well, and see Hitler there looking at the design chassis of a truck or car or whatever that is. At that, so get a little boost there from looking at our competitors around other nations. Dance show put on for the Winter Olympics. Yeah, we'll do that there. Sonja Henie. I'm an old movie buff, so I know most all these people. Most of you, I mean, just about everybody who was, well, later career, maybe. Yeah, my parents are still alive, so later career, sort of. But she was mostly 30s and 40s. She was, she became a movie star in America, but she was a Norwegian figure skater, won the gold, and sort of controversially did the Hitler salute to Hitler, because he was up at the stands at the completion of her routine, and then shortly thereafter, obviously, we see her meeting Hitler. So it was sort of controversial, but that was sort of somewhat hushed up after she came to America and was a rather fairly big movie star, but in sort of skating movies. They used to do these genres of skating and swimming and dancing movies. So, sort of an controversy a little bit there. And then the closing ceremony, the end of the Olympics, get a little manpower back from, because we had manpower needing to man the Olympics. Fractured government. Give them fuel for money? Sure. Sino-German cooperation. Chinese. Germany had a fairly significant tradition of supporting the nationalist government in China. We're going to agree to that. Will cost us a bit, but I think overall it's a positive for us. Hurts our relations with Japan a little bit. So we get the effect, plus 15 metal. And we can use it somewhat, but not a huge amount there. But the big thing is 20% rare materials, supplies down, money down. That's it. SA whereabout? I'm not even gonna try it. The SA Sports Badge. Okay, as we talked a little bit already about the SA, one of their big elements within German military society, if you will, was its training of various things. And the SA Sports Badge was one of just like 3 or 4 non-military badges that you could wear on military uniforms. And you'll see lots and lots of military men with this. It came in 3 grades: bronze, silver, and gold. This is actually the bronze. It was the nicest looking one that I could find a good picture of. And it's 3 levels, and you can see here, and the higher levels, for the gold, is field exercises. It's map reading, signaling, recon work. Where at the silver, it's 25 kilometers pack march, small caliber rifle firing, 200-meter assault course in a gas mask. So this was a achievement award that was open to males of the right age to just about everybody. You didn't have to be a member of the SA to go out and get this badge. You also see it very prominently on a lot of SS men, including Himmler. I think his was just bronze. He wasn't that physically fit. But you'll see a lot of them wearing this SA badge. So it's sort of somewhat of a universal badge. But the sports competition qualifications, whatever you want to say, was administered by the SA, and you got your award booklet, that authorized you to wear it, your medals and stuff. So this is all part of the SA's setup for training German society for the coming war. So you get little bonuses. None of these should be enough to, unless you're almost done training, should ever really give you a whole new level, but just takes a few days off of training on a bunch of things that I thought were appropriate, including political indoctrination, because the SA work on your mind while you're not just while you're doing it, but through a lot of the members. As soon as I move it up a little faster. Okay, President Benes Czechoslovakia, because we are making noises in Czechoslovakia, so improves our relation a little bit here, but we're going to be setting a meeting with them. So this is starting of our program of gaining territory in Czechoslovakia. Yeah, like I say, as soon as you speed up, everything starts popping up. Okay, you remember the Philip Holzman construction company. Iran wants construction of a new railway station in Tehran, and they've asked the Germans to build it for them, using mostly local labor, and I'm sure a lot of locally sourced materials, but good German engineering. That's the official dimensions of the Persian flag at the time. That's why it's so long. Found a very good website that covers modern and historic flags and all the official things. So basically a little bit of supplies, a little bit of metal that we send out there, a little bit of energy, just who cares about the energy, I just threw it in there. Do that, it will improve our relations with Iran if we do this, or we cannot. I want our relations improved, so I'm willing to spend the supplies. That's about the only thing it really costs. Okay. Previously to this point, the SS had an AMPT. Do I say? AMPT is headquarters, and Hauptamt is greater headquarters or something. So this event expands, and it happened, as you say, in January 36 or 35, I guess. No, Hausmeyer, yeah, the Hauptamt. But we're just putting it here so that they have needs an HQ, a headquarters in Berlin. And you can see here, obviously not very well to read it, but excuse me, a period, complete table of organization for the SS at this time. So yes, we will do that. Towards the sun, I forget, sorry, one of the members brought this to my attention. I knew about the KDF ships, of course, for quite some time. Strength Through Joy, it was sort of the DAFT, or Deutsches Arbeitersfront. Holiday program, weekend program, fun program. So work hard, but get to have vacation. This was a sort of a massive 4 ships, 4,000 workers, sort of their first big holiday. There you see the Oceana pictured there with a ticket or luggage stub right there, and had the cover of a brochure for the event out to Madeira. Yeah. Out here, all the way out there. Bad picture, should do a unique one, but they weren't snow-covered mountains, but a mountain on this island. Out there for a holiday in the sun, towards the sun. Big sort of event, sort of 4,000 lucky workers get to go on it. We can decide not to do it, we'll gain some supplies because we're not spending as much, but we'll get some dissent and lose some national unity, or, I don't know why just because it's a percentage, it's red for some reason. But we'll lose dissent, which we don't really care about right now, and we'll improve our relations with Portugal for just a little bit of money and supplies. See, money is used here because we're paying for things in Portugal. That's why I use money here. Supplies are sort of the German end of things. And this bumped up a little bit because we added the SSHQ to the map. What we should do is attach the SSVT inspectorate. The SS Hump Dump. I know I'm butchering these. And it was Hausmeyer. It was the Hausmeyer was the man in charge of it at the time, and for a considerable time after that. Okay, the National Socialist Ritterskorp. This was set up March 36 here. Basically, sort of like the NSKK absorbed all the automotive functions within the German Reich. This organization, basically every breeder society, every horse riding organization was officially put under this organization, and they had control of them, including the Ritter HJ, the Ritter SA, and the Ritter SS, though basically the Ritter SS ignored them and did their own thing for multiple reasons. And so, you know, breeding societies, everything was put under this, and this is sort of set up as an independent organization to some degree. And after the war crimes tribunals found that membership in this organization was not a sign of any criminality or war crimes, or this organization particularly was, because basically everybody involved in it, or everybody involved in horses, basically had to be a part of this organization. But as you see here, these are photos of SA men on horseback in the Ritter SA. What's his name here? Trying to read this here. Leitzmann. Leitzmann was in charge of this organization. Now, Leitzmann was a member of the SA. All the upper leadership of this were members of the SA, and this was officially a sub-organization. Remember, this is in 36, well after the Night of the Long Knives. So although this was to be a member of this, you didn't have to be a member of the party like you would if you were a member of the SA. You had to be a member of the Nazi Party. You didn't have to be a member of the SA to be a member of the NSRK. So it was a more inclusive organization in that sense, and it officially managed all these SA Ritterstandard sort of directly, but then they were still, from my understanding and reading, still under their local SA group as well. So it's sort of a dual authorities over them. And so the Ritter SA still maintained a somewhat military-like stance, but was also under this. So this, I really look at this as an SA organization, although you didn't need to be a member of the SA to be involved in it. But all of these controlling upper elites of it were members of the SA in full and complete standing, not just honorary put on a uniform type guys. No, these were all this. So interesting group. I've only recently found out about this group in studying up for the SA here. This gives us improved, we don't get a choice on this event because I didn't want to give you one. Improves cavalry exploitation gain. I didn't really, obviously Germany already has this fully out there. I really don't have other text to give this, but just that. Okay. Vakya, I guess. My Czech friends. George 1941 and others, if they want to try to correct me, they can. The flag, this was a Czech-based National Socialist movement, not the German-based group. Well, actually, it's a fascist movement, sorry, not National Socialist. It's a fascist movement. So, in some ways, it looks a bit more towards Mussolini at this time. Maxner, it founded this small Czechoslovakian movement and a magazine of the same name. But he was also known for, previous to this and continuing from this, for writing books. And you can see the cover of one of the books there. And the best translation I have it is The Practical Telepathy or Transfer of Mind Reading as the Key to Mental Magic, and other similar books. He must have been a very interesting guy to think that he's doing this, but a lot of that comes out of the esoteric movements of the 19th century, I believe. But so he's the founder of this organization. We'll see more of them later. You can choose not to support them. If you choose not to support them, it doesn't affect your supporting the SDP, the Sudetendeutsches Party, but it does affect later ability to gain control of the Czechs, if you will, because there are some Czech elements later on. So we're going to support them. A little bit of money, again, money's for foreign support, and a little bit of supplies, so it's hardly anything. It's nothing of a party. But we'll flood them with some money so they can publish their magazine and get it out there. This is the Reichsführerschule der Esse. This is the head leadership school for the Esse. They also develop smaller ones around too, but this is the main one, headed by what? Kum. You'll notice on a lot of the SA uniforms and older members of the SS continuing to wear it, because from the days when they were part of the SA, this tier rune, it's not really an arrow, it's a tier rune. I think I'm saying that right here. Yeah, tier rune. Someone who has graduated from an SA school knows the current staff wore that patch. If you were not the upper ranks, but the sort of lower ranks on one side instead of a unit. Well, that was the unit. Your unit was your staff of the school. So this will increase leadership in Munich and give us an SA HQ. Not that we really needed another one. Created the SA HQ in the days before I did the grand OB for them, and just because I needed a few more SA HQs. But yeah, so we got that. Helps out our leadership, improves it more. Spain is mostly at peace. I was going to say still at peace, but Republican Spain had an outbreak of some sort of rebels. No longer get money for supplies from the US there. They're at war with Italy. So it doesn't look like Italy's doing too much. Well, they got there. No longer receiving money for supplies from them. Okay. We'll get a few more of the flags to appear, hopefully, soon. Give us some more choices. Okay, Estonia. We'll give them some supplies for money. Finland definitely, because we want to have good relations with them. The Czechs, I guess we'll do that. We'll see if we get somebody else. I don't need good relations with Peru. They're friendly with the Republic of Spain. They're one of the nations that boycotted the Summer Olympics because it was in Germany, and Germany was helping out nationalists. Spain. Okay, we definitely will get good relations with them. Netherlands, alright, and Ecuador. No, we don't. I think Ecuador was another one of the... There were 2 or 3 Latin American nations plus the Republic of Spain at the time that refused boycott of the Olympics. And fuel fertilizer. Okay, we're getting... Let's see, we want to... Enough spies. Let's see, we'll spy on Japan. See if we can get some naval tech from them. And partly, do this sort of just... Hope it's worthwhile. You know, obviously, it's maybe not worthwhile in the sense of better spent on my own tech, but the one thing you can do, instead of just going up to the next level, you go up to whatever their level is. So you can jump bigger jumps, potentially. The other thing is just sort of fun to see what you get. Almost got that. Ah, the Second London Naval Treaty. I believe there's a black ice event that Germany doesn't get. Dealing with this is just an informational event. Germany, because it was prohibited from having any of these big ships at the time, wasn't invited to the Congress. This is a medal that Japan struck afterwards. You see the one flag in color is Japan because Japan left. And they weren't getting what they wanted out of the treaty, so they left. What fools. Disarmament. There's been some theories that disarmament would lead to war. I mean, armament would lead to war, because you had to defeat your opponent before he built his new ships or whatever. I really don't believe that. I know a lot of people believe that, and obviously nations who think they're at the top of the heap and think they're only talking to the other nations at the top of the heap, the super powerful, might want to, well, we don't have to spend as much money on building new ships in an arms race if we can use other needs for it. Well, yeah, if you're a bunch of good, well-meaning nations, you know, France, Britain, the US at the time, yeah, you can work kind of things like that out to keep a certain level of parity if you want. But the world ain't like that. I mean, today, I'm still a little disappointed that the US doesn't even have its 4 last battleships in service. And we should be replacing those 4, not a huge fleet of them. Because they still are very valuable tools to this day. Anyone who thinks not has not seen the impact of a 16-inch naval shell into the Beirut area. They can be built, unlike carriers, they can be built to take on the big ship killer missiles that nations like China and the Soviet Union, Russia are building today. Because you can put those heavy armor on it. You don't have to have carrier decks and whatever else, and you can set up to have your own this is, I know, modern talk here, but your own missiles to intercept the ship killers, but also your own long-range missiles as well, hidden, you know, put on decks that are well below the armor. So you got a, you know, very well armored vessels. So not having any is a stupid thing. You don't need to overbuild. But this obviously hurts the other nations, so Germany will build up. The other nations won't. What fools. Okay, Auto Union. Made up of multiple companies, including Audi, which still uses that symbol, or this is Audi's symbol as part of Auto Union, and the Type C, as you can see here, a sort of driver forward, engine rear type design car. Goes fast, helps our automotive development. And controllable pitch. We're still in the red, so yeah. So our aircraft improves them up, and I think we'll just do this one, stick her there. Those of you who have seen my previous series know that I use a lot of naval air for Germany to control the coastal waters. Okay, Reich, tag wall. I'm sorry, Germans. The 1936 elections, first election since 1933. Voters were only able to elect candidates from a single list, all of which were approved by the NSDAP, one party basically. Ballots without a vote were counted in favor of Nazi rule. So if you turned in a vote with nothing on it, it automatically went to the Nazis. Jews had lost their voting rights by this time. And you notice this is a, from what I've been reliably informed, is a picture of the ballot, and someone, yeah, the national, you're voting for the National Socialists. Check here, kind of thing. So naturally, we win. This upsets a few people, but improves overall party control and efficiencies of popularity. So it gave us a little dissent. Hopefully, it gave us more of this, so that things are a bit more brown here. We're into high popularity. Cool. Hopefully we'll keep that for a while. Increases our leadership. Probably not for long. We will improve our artillery. Hopefully we keep our high popularity, or move into very high. Guaranteed deployment capabilities. This is just a tech that we the modders like to try to limit the AI from doing stupid things, and I think the main reason for this is to give Japan island garrisons that it can't move. So this is a tech that can only be researched by humans. So because Germany does have some garrisons, and will be given some garrisons that you might want to deploy to places like Norway, that you would need to ship them, or potentially anywhere else, you will want to research this tech. It just allows you to transport various overly sized units for transport weight. So, the way we're getting around things. Hydrophones. We'll listen to the ocean. For whales, of course. Just whales and other fishies. Not submarines. We wouldn't do anything warlike. Okay, another possible. Okay. 4 infantry divisions is part of Wella 1, created April 1936. The question is, do we want them on the map, or do we want them in the production queue? The production queue will give us better practicals. I think because these even with this, and I sort of think you know, they may have done the math and know better than me, whether this would be better to reduce the supply cost and maybe the manpower cost, maybe not the manpower cost so much, because we're going to try this, because I want to leave, because we've, like I advise, we overproduce on supplies just for these events to keep them going. We're not overproducing by much, so we're going to take the supply hit here. But what we also get is, basically, except for the transport unit, no manpower, so you have to build your manpower up, or it comes under the heading of reinforcements. Reinforcements are a lot cheaper than the initial build, and I know they would come into the production line partially built, so I don't quite know which would be better, or how it's well balanced, but that's it. Okay, we're back down to medium popularity, because it was just all internal factors are keeping us from going too high. Der Deutsch Polizblatt, whatever. The German police officer magazine, I believe it was monthly, or no, twice monthly. Help better to organize your police up, yes, to have everybody read it so they know. Good way to spread techniques of good policing, so we do that, yes. Diplomatic report, what are the Czechs doing? The National Assembly has passed laws on national defense. This will mean they are increasing their ability to defend their nation. So this is just a report that the Czechs are improving and they will get an event that helps improve their national defense. So they potentially become harder to conquer. Not just sort of our diplomat, shall we say, because not spies, because it was obviously passed in the public. Okay, Wear crests 1, first level. This is from GGA. Maintain and improve the system or no need. We're going to do this. It costs 3,000 supplies, but we'll gain a bunch of officers, which we need. We'll gain some manpower in those various cities. Improvement on a bunch of the training. We will until 47, because this is because look at that's that manpower is a permanent manpower gain. It's not just a one-off thing. So for that, we'll get this system which increases national manpower, also the percentage of 2.5% there. I want to go up and point to it, but I can't with you there. Organizational regain rate is improved. Land organization is improved by 2.5%, as well as officer recruitment by 3%. So for 1.5% ICs, and obviously that price goes up as German ICs get bigger, but I'm willing to take that to and reduction in supplies to have this system for better training. So units that will come out and more manpower. So definitely, yes, we take that. Well, good for us. We've I want to pop up and pause. I want to get these. We've stolen plans for marine activation, which gives us marines. That is potentially useful if we're going to build marines, and at some point we very well might. So not only naval, but we have marines. Germany really didn't have marines. They had naval infantry at best, but so we may be using those later in the game. That's nice. That's a help. I'm not saying it's quite worth the exact leadership put into it, but it's nice to have. Okay, I think, well, we'll take these events and then I think we'll be ending this. Okay. Yes. Motorsports school, or schools of the NSKK. There were 23 motor sports schools, including, I'm not sure whether that's before or after unification with Austria, including one major national one. There was a couple, I believe 2 of them, that were mountain driving schools, obviously in the mountains for good mountain driving. The NSKK trains the Hitler Youth, the Motor HJ. So the kids, you know, older kids, obviously 15, 16 years old, were being trained as well for driving and mechanics. And later on, I'm not sure how much it's covered in one of the future events, even though I made them recently. They also become responsible for training the Army for driving and automobile maintenance, including Panzers. So I'm not quite sure what, because obviously there were some Panzer school, how much driver's training there was in the Army, but part of it at least was trained by the NSKK, a National Socialist organization. So, and this is, there's another building sort of behind the photo, and this is actually a photo of the training corps taken either there or on the other side of this building, because there's their eagle and stuff. And you see their list of garage, you know, their line of garages there, 3-story building, 4-story up into there. So, you know, rather big schools, you know, and there were 23 of them around. So this will give us just one training base down here somewhere. This is where that one pictured is, though it wasn't their national one. Just went with that. And that, give them 23, would have been overdoing it. So yes, we're going to do this. Or we can do a big increase, which we'll do some more days, but 3,000 supplies for 10 more days I don't quite think is worth it. Again, you can throw more resources at training or research, but it doesn't always pay off. So, but we're going to continue the basic one. Basically, this Hitler wanted a bigger governmental building, and been some talk about whether this should become a imperial capital for the Black Ice qualification. And I'd like your feedback on this. A lot of those elite buildings that you can develop later in the game, Britain sort of already had, Germany sort of already had, some of them France already had. The US didn't have it had a War Department, and so some of these defense, note to any of the Black Ice team that may listen to this, you have a lot of defense research terms used. They didn't use those terms back then. There was no defense departments back then. They were war departments. The U.S. had a War Department until 1945. It was only, and I'm not sure whether it was 45, 6, or 7, or something right around there, that it was renamed the Defense Department. Yeah. They started building the Pentagon during the war, but before the war, the U.S., it was a much smaller War Department. So they wouldn't have the big military whatever for the U.S., but a lot of these governments really already did. And so whether this should be eventually, because this is just starting up of doing a building, this doesn't actually give you this one. Hitler needs a bigger, they're remodeling, rebuilding, starting program. So this is Hitler demands this, you don't have a choice, it's going to cost you. And this is sort of the big first thing that Speer does, and what really sets Speer up as the main architect and planner for Berlin. And they weren't waiting all till the Germania post-war. They were starting it now. See the plans, another picture of the model from another angle. So we're starting production on that. Okay, I think we're going to end this episode. Gone a little long. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's make sure we got enough of this. Keep that out of the red. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for liking. Please post your feedback. Have a good day. See you next time.